Hello, my divinities. Welcome, welcome. So today we do get to have some Palo Santo. I already lit the incense because I needed it to clean the decks. So we do have a much better cleansed area. Last time I could only do incense. I just feel better when we could do both. Okay, so today I feel drawn to using these two decks and then this one as clarifiers. The way that the reading is going to come out, it feels a lot like each deck represents a different person energetically. That's what I'm feeling already. But you'll see how I use the cards, and I think that itself will tell us a story. So there's going to be no oracle decks. Let's just dive straight in, okay? So let's see. What is it we need to know about today's collective? What is it we need to know about today's collective? Ace of Wands. Okay. Wow. that is literally, I don't know why I say literally so much, but that is such a opposing energy. Something has just come to a devastating ending, but it's gonna, okay, so again, I don't know, because it's a collective, I don't know where the collective is at. If they're in this place where something has just come to a screeching halt, a devastating ending, or if they already went through this and now they're going to experience a burst of life, something being born. Let's see. Clarify Ace of Wands. Knight of Wands, Death. Oh, okay. Oh, damn. The devil. Okay, so for some of you, this could be a job. There's a lot of pentacle energy as well as material energy. This doesn't have to be a job. It could be a connection of some sort. But this will involve a lot of changes. Now, this could be... The Death card is a pretty big change. And with the Devil card here, it's like a commitment, a binding commitment. So this could be some of you, maybe you're going to get married and you're going to move to a different place. Maybe you're going to get into a relationship and change location. Maybe, like when I say change location, like you might, if you lived in an apartment, you might move into a house. Or if you lived in a house, maybe you're moving to a different state or a different city. But there's a massive change. Now, for some of you, this could just be an internal change. It doesn't have to be external. I just think it's external because there's a lot of like pentacle energy, which is tangible things. But for some of you, maybe it's value, right? That's still tangible. Maybe the way that you see yourself is changing. Maybe what you're changing is being bound to certain things that you didn't want to be bound to anymore. Yeah, see, for some of you, it could definitely be an internal change. Maybe the way that you see yourself is going to be a lot less toxic. If you used to see yourself in a very negative point of view, maybe you're opening up, especially with the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like you're doing tangible things to change that. Like maybe you are, you're going to start running, you're going to start eating better, you're going to start drinking more water, you're going to start doing tangible things that lead you to being a more stable energy. And because we do have the Devil, this could be financial in nature as well. Or maybe some of you were like very sexually active and you're putting an end to that. You're still going to be sexually active, but just with one person, which would be commitment. Because this is not about someone becoming more, well, you know what? Hold on. The King of Pentacles can be very carnal in nature. So maybe this is the opposite. Maybe this is somebody who is focusing on their money and sex, and they're leaving behind a commitment. That could also be it. So there's a lot of different ways that this could go. Let's see. Let's see what else comes up. What else do we need to know about today's collective? Let's see. Oh my God. 2 aces, really? What's at the bottom of the deck? Hermit. it really feels like a whole new beginning. Especially because it looks like a bear coming out of hibernation. So maybe somebody has been on a really internal journey of healing, and now they're ready to open up to different things in life. Maybe if they had been celibate, they're ready to open back up to intimacy sexually and romantically. If they had been maybe recluse, they're going to be more open socially, you know, to going out, hanging out with friends. I feel like someone's coming back to life. Let's see, clarify Ace of Pentacles. I'm hearing that. Back to life, back to reality. Four of Wands, Four of Cups. Yeah, I really think like in the past, look at this, all these fours, 4, 4, 4. I really feel like someone had been healing. They were rejecting any type of relationship, any type of, this is also like gatherings. They didn't want to go to any weddings. They didn't want to go to parties. They didn't want to go to social events. And I do feel like all of a sudden that's going to open up and they're going to start making friends again. They're going to start, or if they already had friends, they're going to start reconnecting with them. Their hermit phase is over. High Priestess. Oh, sorry. With the Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands, I feel like this is more indicative of somebody who maybe took some time out of life because they were learning to set boundaries. They were learning who they should keep out. And maybe before they really, you know, they kind of believed in, oh, I should just be friends with everybody. I should just open up to everything. And they realized that, no, that's not how it goes. So with High Priestess energy, they're learning discretion. They're learning to trust their intuition. They're learning where, when, and who to set boundaries with, how to set boundaries, how to enforce boundaries. Clarify the High Priestess here. Eight of Pentacles, Four of Wands. Oh, High Priestess again. Okay. And yes, look at that. Queen of Swords. Absolutely. Okay. Especially if this dealt with somebody who maybe was very intuitive, but they would, okay, how do I put this? Sometimes when we are very intuitive, and I used to do this as well, so I'm not like, you know, trying to make y'all feel bad, but we tend to, because we can understand other people, because we can feel what they felt, we tend to make excuses. I just realized there's more light. We tend to make excuses for their behavior instead of holding them accountable. And somebody here is done with that. They're in Queen of Swords mode. Even if they know why somebody did something, they still expect them to communicate now. Even if they know how it made the other person feel, they're still going to act like, nope, until you speak up, use your words, I'm not gonna acknowledge it. So they had to work on this. They had to maybe put themselves on timeout for a lot of different things, not going out, not doing a lot of things. They kind of became a hermit because they were learning to trust themselves, to trust their intuition, to trust their gut feeling, because also that intuitive feeling, if you're not very bonded with yourself, if you're not in tune with yourself, when your intuition is telling you stay away from someone, but you feel like, oh, but they're a good person. Oh, but I don't want to hurt them. Oh, but you know, they didn't mean it. We ignore our intuition and then it becomes a self-betrayal. Then we don't trust ourselves, but we also get things that happen later on. We're angry because we knew better. We knew that was not a wise decision. So this has been, for now, I guess we're going to call her High Priestess. This is where the High Priestess has been. She was in hermit mode. She was working on herself, and now she's ready to pop out. Let's see. Oh, Queen of Pentacles. Wow. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, you know, this might be a commitment because remember the first clarifiers had a King of Pentacles and a Knight of Pentacles, and now we've got a Queen of Pentacles. So I really feel like if this is someone who had kind of put themselves in this place of no relationships, nothing, now they're open to dating. I'm not going to say that they know who they want to be with, because we did see two people, but they might be open to offers. Maybe the two aces represent the fact that they are drawn to two different types of people. One person maybe is very attractive physically and exciting and fun, and the other person is more stable, more consistent, more practical. But if maybe before, this Queen of Pentacles used to go off of what was passionate, what was exciting, now she's going to go for both. Yet she still wants passionate, exciting, but she also wants to make sure that she's grounded. She wants to make sure that she's making decisions that are practical, that are not a self-betrayal. So it's a mix. She's not going to have to sacrifice. She's just going to make sure it comes with, you know, more than just passion. And if this is the other way around, and this is a masculine, then they're the ones opening up to Queen of Pentacles energy. Let's see. Clarify Queen of Pentacles. Two of Swords. Okay, well, this definitely feels more like the Queen is making a decision. She might have needed to make a decision about who she was going to go with. For a while, that was kind of eating at her. She might have not been sure, am I ready? Am I ready to make this type of decision? Am I ready to move forward? Do I trust myself enough? Am I in tune with myself enough to make this decision? And for some of you, she's still in this place. So maybe the Ten of Swords is an indication that soon this doubt, this agony will be over if you're still in that place. Because again, for some of you, you are still in the place of, I'm not sure if I'm ready. And for others of you, you're already in the Ten of Swords. For others of you, you're already in the New Start, right? So it's a collective. Don't worry. There's no specific place you're supposed to be in. You're supposed to be in wherever you are is where you're supposed to be. Okay. Let's see. What else do we need to know? What else do we need to know? Okay, we've got Three of Pentacles, Two of Swords, Four of Wands. With another indication that there's hesitation, Two of Swords. With the Six of Pentacles. Because there's a lot of pentacles, this could be either one, a very serious commitment, because Four of Wands coming out again, or it's more financial in nature. If they're still indecision, this could be because maybe this Queen is dealing with two different job offers. And if it's not two different job offers, maybe it's two different people who want to commit. Maybe this is different. Maybe it's about having to choose between two different schools. But whatever it is, because the Devil showed up as one of the first clarifiers, now we got the Four of Wands. This is like the third time I believe we got the Four of Wands. It's like once the choice is made, it seals something, which is why it's making it a little difficult for her to choose. It could come down to pay. It could come down to if it's a school, maybe it'll come down to what it's going to cost. If it's a job, it'll come down to what it's going to pay. If it's a relationship, it'll be like, what kind of foundation can they build? How much reciprocity is in the relationship? I don't know. There's a few different ways this could go. Which is why I ask you to watch the collectives with a grain of salt, because You know, I could be reading in a romantic relationship and then it turns out it's a business connection, or, you know, vice versa. I could be reading it as a business connection the whole time it's a relationship. So only you know how this applies to you. Clarify Three of Pentacles. King of Cups. Oh. King and Queen of Cups. Well, one of them has options. It could, I'm not sure if it's the queen or the king, but this is a ideal match, to be honest. Now, ideal match for what though? With Three of Pentacles, this could be an ideal match between this is the right school for this person, this is the right romantic partner, this is the right business partner. There's a lot of different ways that could be interpreted, right? But this is one of the matches is an ideal match. So let's look at the Two of Swords. What's the delay? What's the problem? High Priestess reversed. With the Nine of Cups. You know what's funny? I feel like now, remember how I said intuitively it felt like each deck was a different person? I feel like this is the Queen of Pentacles, and now the person we're reading for is the King of Cups. Because she showed up trusting her intuition, right? She showed up ready. And this person, their indecision comes from not trusting their intuition. So I do believe this is a different person. It's funny because they're on the same wavelength. The cards are very similar because they're on the same wavelength, but where the queen was in a place of indecision, the queen was in a place of, you know, I'm not sure what to pick. I think a choice has been made. Whereas I believe the king is still working on this. They're still working on connecting to their intuition. They're still working on trusting themselves because maybe in the past they didn't. Clarify Four of Wands. Hierophant. Look. Okay. And here she is. So you know what this could be? The fact that the King and Queen of Cups showed up. It could be that this king once upon a time chose someone that they thought was the ideal mate. Underneath the Queen of Cups, we had the Seven of Cups, and maybe it was just an illusion. And so now they're struggling to trust themselves because they're like, yeah, last time I thought it was the ideal mate too. And now this person's different. They're not a Queen of Cups, they're a Queen of Pentacles. But they're still compatible, water and earth. So this does feel, again, it feels different. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about a relationship, whether we're talking about a business partnership. The Queen of Pentacles still feels aligned with this King of Cups to build something, whatever it is that they're trying to build. But at the same time, they feel different than the last time. And that's because this Queen of Pentacles is more grounded, more practical, more real in some way. And so this person feels like, I think this could work. They have a lot they have a lot more faith in the Queen of Pentacles than they do in themselves. But at the same time, with the Six of Pentacles here, something about the Queen of Pentacles almost, it's like making them work on addressing why they're not trusting themselves too. They can tell she's had her own failures, her own losses. But with the Knight of Swords, she doesn't hesitate in asking questions. She doesn't hesitate in figuring out what's going on. What's the reasoning here? Why are we doing this? Interesting. Let's see, what else comes up for this king? The Sun and Ten of Pentacles. With the Star. So this could be a little bit of a variation of the reading we got yesterday. Maybe it's either one, it's additional details, or it's similar but different timeline. Because this king may come from a wealthy family. And this all together, Star and Sun, would kind of imply that they come from a well-off family that is well-known. There's the Queen of Pentacles again. They're trying to figure out how she would fit into their world. How she would, almost like they can already see what a great fit she would be, because she is, if you notice, the Queen of Pentacles already came up 3 times, because she does come across as very practical, very grounded, down to earth, and at the same time very dignified. Her energy is very soothing, healing, elegant. So this king does feel like, yeah, this is a good match. I feel maybe last time they went off of emotion, and this time it's not that there's not emotion, it's that the emotion feels more realistic. Let's see, clarify the Sun. The Moon and 6 of Swords. Goodness. So she really is showing up with Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Swords. It could be that maybe when they felt, whoever the Queen of Cups was, they felt like, oh, that's an ideal match. But it was followed by the 7 of Cups. So maybe there was a lot that they didn't know how the Queen of Cups felt about things. She wouldn't speak up, whereas this queen is very clear, very direct about what she's feeling. There's no confusion. So it's almost like when that might be how they're realizing that they don't trust their intuition, because when they feel something intuitively and they ignore it, she later confirms it and they're like, see, I didn't trust my intuition, because she's very clear. Now, the only thing is, she's clear about what they need to know. And I say that because we have 7 of Swords also with the Moon. So they feel like, well, she'll tell me the truth about whatever it is she thinks I need to know. But if there's things that she doesn't think I need to know, she will not tell me. She'll keep it to herself. She's discreet. And on some ways they appreciate that, because, you know, they also don't want someone to just, you know, verbally dump on them. But at the same time, it makes them a little concerned that maybe the same thing would happen, that maybe she would be feeling things that they wouldn't know what's going on. But maybe because they are coming from a very well, and when I say well-known background, what I mean by that is there's levels to that, right? This could be, maybe you live in a small town and this is one of the families that owns a big company in town and everybody knows their name and that's how they're famous. Or it's a city and it's a famous family in that city. You know, it's something like that. It doesn't have to be like world famous, but whatever your level of wherever this applies to you is, that's how they're well known. So in that case, this king is comfortable with the fact that this is not, discretion is a good thing. This is not someone who would go around blabbing about their family issues or situations, but at the same time, they're like, yeah, but that also means she's strategic. She knows what information to keep from me if she wanted to. That still worries them. But they do prefer her discretion. Clarify 10 of Pentacles. 4 of Swords. Okay, so there's pros and cons to this. On one hand, this King of Cups, which is funny because they haven't actually showed up on the board. They showed up as a clarifier. More what we're seeing here is their thoughts, their feelings. So they might not be a full, like they might be more than just a King of Cups, but right now they're showing up as a King of Cups. Maybe they're also the King of Pentacles. We don't know. But whoever this person is, this masculine who's looking at this Queen of Pentacles, she had her own decisions to make. Now they're making decisions, right? And the thing about this Queen of Pentacles to them is almost like they have a feeling that she would be the one leading the relationship. Whatever this is, whether it's a business relationship or not, whatever type of connection this is, they have a feeling she would be the one leading. Now, I don't think they'd have a major problem with that, because there's also a feeling of peace here. Like they trust her to lead. They trust her to make good decisions. They trust her to be someone who sees the bigger picture. Okay. Interesting. She is giving them a lot of hope, especially with the Star card and the Sun. It's like she brings a lot of warmth and a lot of healing and hope to them that maybe at some point they had lost. They had kind of given up on. So if they are the same person as the King of Pentacles, they're both bringing big changes to each other. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Let's find out. What else do we need to know about this Queen? Look at that. Princess of Swords. The High Priest. Okay. So I think this Queen had kind of given up on marriage or given up on being part of anything traditional. And I do believe this is the same king. If she's choosing them, just like they're choosing her, she's starting to be curious about what it would be like to get married again. What would it be like to trust someone to that degree again? Ooh, the devil. She's not super excited about it, I gotta tell you that. But this would answer the question about why she's so conflicted, because to her this is a very binding decision. Once she says yes, which means this might be a proposal she's receiving, it feels very final. And so she's sitting here like, is that really what I want? Clarify Princess of Swords. She's definitely having trouble with it, because I feel like this is a queen who has gotten pretty used to being independent, has gotten pretty used to just doing her own thing. And she feels like she would lose that ability, especially because of the type of family that she would be joining. It would be a family that's in the public eye in some way. So even if it's public eye, as in, everybody in the small town knows them, it means that everywhere she would go, her actions would be a reflection of the family she would now be a part of. And that, she's kind of like, oh, I don't know. Look, she's not sure. She's not sure she wants that. Oh, this might lead to a breakup. So maybe the Ten of Swords is it's gonna be these two people not coming together. That could have been what the Ten of Swords signified, because she's not liking that idea. Let's see, maybe the family is not very kind, or maybe the family is not very warm. Knight of Swords or Prince of Swords. Death card. There is a, I don't think this is gonna work. Only because like the queen is being realistic with herself about, I don't know that I could withstand this. I don't know that I could withstand letting go of my freedom, letting go of my, yeah, look, letting go of her freedom. Look, I'm telling you, she doesn't want to. Even if she may care about, maybe this is like a situation where these two came together for very practical reasons, and the Queen of Pentacles is the right fit for the King of Cups, King of Pentacles. But I will say, I didn't really notice a lot of love. I noticed the King and Queen of Cups, but maybe it started off very fantasy-like. And as time progresses, there's a lot of pressure. Let's see, clarify Prince of Swords. Look. Star card, Five of Pentacles, Four of Cups. There's a lot of pressure, for sure. I feel like this queen is not fond of the fact that there's a lot of eyes on her. She feels naked. She feels like very exposed. Wherever she goes, people might be asking her questions. People might be hounding her. With the Five of Pentacles, she might have even lost friends or connections because of the situation. She's just at a point where she's pretty done. She's pretty done with the situation. So maybe she reached a point with a proposal where she had to decide, is this really what I want? And she's realizing, no, this isn't really what I want. I think I'm just gonna move on. I don't want this to be my whole life. I don't want this to be how I live the rest of my life. Ooh, damn. Okay. Well, regardless of what it is, whether it's a proposal for a job or whether it's a proposal for marriage or something like, it's not. It could be someone turning down a school. I just realized we're at past 30-minute mark. I'm gonna stop part 1 here. We're gonna continue looking into this on part 2. If you're already on Patreon, then I hope to see you there. And if you are not, then if you could at least support part 1 by putting in the comments, even if it's the emojis just in the title, that would still show me you appreciate my time and energy, okay? Love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.